Today we're going to talk about a person by the name of Jeffrey Anderson. Today we're going to talk about a person by the name of Jeffrey Anderson. Before I say anything further, I would like to say all constitutional rights reserved, none waived. Now, with that being stated and with that being said, Jeffrey Anderson is an attorney that I found online that works in Columbus, Ohio, Franklin County. And I retained Jeffrey Anderson last year in 2016, towards the end of the year, to help Moses with his divorce. I actually paid him. I talked to Mr. Anderson because at the time I was residing in Arizona, and I spoke with him via phone, and I advised him everything that was going on with Moses McCormick's divorce proceedings and everything. And I told him that Moses needed to meet with an attorney and sit down and bring the attorney abreast on the details of his divorce situation. So attorney Jeffrey Anderson agreed to that, and him and Moses met. They sat down, they talked, they got familiar with each other, and Jeffrey Anderson took the case. Jeffrey Anderson signed on to the case. When Jeffrey Anderson signed on to the case, the primary goal that Moses McCormick wanted Jeffrey Anderson to do is to obtain temporary spousal support for him while he is going through the divorce in court. Now, it is believed that, again, like I said, the first attorney, Todd Sidoti, he was sent. So there's somebody behind the curtains, pretty much. I'm not going to say somebody, but there's pretty much some things going on behind the curtains that's not allowing any attorney to get Mr. Moses McCormick his things that he are entitled to under the law. So apparently, when Attorney Anderson got on the case, he was, from what the evidence suggests, he was advised that there will be no issuance of no spousal support, and he played into the settling out of court tactic towards Moses McCormick. He played into it as well. So, along many other things, he promised that he would send the receipt to my credit card. He promised that he would send me my receipts via mail, and that he would send a summary of what we talked about and what Moses McCormick was to have done for him. And Jeffrey Anderson did not do any of that. He didn't send me a receipt for my credit card payment. That he took $1,000 out of my account, and he didn't send me any of the paperwork as promised. And when I went to follow up with him with that, there was always some type of excuse, or I couldn't get a hold of him. So still to this day I haven't gotten a receipt from him or anything like that. But I did contact my credit card company, and I did let them know that the services that he provided was he didn't provide the service as promised. So pretty much he ripped us off. And what he also did was he denied saying that he would send me my credit card receipts, that he charged my account $1,000. And if you know anything about Visa and MasterCard, you know that. Now, if you know anything about a credit card, Visa and MasterCard requires all merchants to get proof of deliveries and signatures of customers who use their card to show proof that authorization was given and that the transaction is a sound transaction. Well, Mr. Jeffrey Anderson, he failed to provide that. He failed to follow the regulations set forth in his merchant agreement. So he did not provide to me a receipt. He did not provide to me any type of documentation as it relates to the $1,000 transaction that he took off my credit card for the services that he was to render. Additionally, he didn't even do anything on the case. He didn't do anything the entire time. He was just trying to move for a settlement, trying to move for a settlement, trying to move for a settlement. And so that's why I said, in the last other clip, this whole thing was decided. So it wouldn't matter if Moses had Johnny Cochran as an attorney. It wouldn't have mattered because the thing was already decided on the end. It was already fixed. This is a fixed thing. So this is a shame. This is a shame. This is structural robbery. That's what that is. This is organized structural robbery. I wouldn't be surprised how many people this happened to. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, Jeffrey Anderson, he operated in bad faith. He breached his duty of care to both me and to he breached the fiduciary duty to Moses McCormick, and furthermore, he embarrassed his own reputation. I mean, how are you going to explain that in court? How are you going to explain that? And one thing led to another, and I mean, I spoke with Jeffrey Anderson via telephone for about an hour and a half before he was paid, and we had an hour and a half conversation about everything that Moses McCormick has been experiencing with his prior attorney. So before Jeffrey Anderson was hired, he knew what Moses McCormick had gone through with Catherine White. He had known what Moses McCormick had gone through with Todd Sidoti.
He even made a comment. When I met with him, he made a comment. He said, he's like, I wouldn't let Catherine White do my divorce. I don't know why he said that, but I remember him making that statement.
Yes. So he knew that Moses McCormick was pretty much, on standby just in case he would try to be on some, dishonest practice. So, he was trying at first, and then he calls me, like December 14th and asked me for $2 more thousand. He asked me I need $2,000 from you. You need $2,000 from me? You didn't even do anything to receive the first 1,000. What do you mean? And you haven't sent me any of my documents that you promised, but you're calling me and asking me for $2,000, which he did on purpose. He did that on purpose to irritate the situation further. Okay? He did that to irritate the situation further because, like I said, this whole thing was already decided out on the other end. The opposing counsel was in bed with the court, okay, because she used to work for the court. So she was in bed with the court, and the thing was already decided through her in the court. They just needed to get someone on the defendant side, which was Moses. They needed to get a counsel that would play along with the game, so he wouldn't be aware of what was going on. Okay, but they did a very poor job with trying to hustle my brother. They did a horrible job. They did a horrible job with trying to hustle him. The Judge Kim Elena Brown, did a horrible job with trying to assist opposing counsel Stacey Gilbert to conceal the assets that his wife had hidden at her firm that we found out about. So yeah, Jeffrey Anderson, he was also called to the divorce court to give an explanation as to, some of his activity, but Judge Kim Elena Brown did not allow Moses McCormick to question him. She basically his testimony was not allowed to be had in her court, so she wouldn't even allow Moses, acting as pro se, to call Jeffrey Anderson to the stand. She wouldn't even allow it. So
which is a violation of rights.
Yeah, exactly, which is constitutional rights,
Civil rights.
and civil rights violated. So, that's pretty much the spiel on Jeffrey Anderson. He played right into it too. It's more detail oriented. I'm not going to go into all of the details. You have to actually follow the case. If you want to get all the details, it's public record. You could go maybe Google Columbus, Ohio. Google Columbus, Ohio Common Pleas Court docket, and then you could type in Moses McCormick, and both case numbers will come up, and you can just click on the case, and then you can look for the complaint in there. You can read it. You can follow this case. You can follow everything along. So if you guys want more details and you want to know what happened detail for detail, I would urge you to go to Google Columbus, Ohio, Common Pleas, Franklin County Common Pleas Court docket, and then put Moses McCormick's name in there, and then you'll see, and you can click on it. You can get right down to the complaints, and you can read everything, and then you can come back to these videos, and these videos is going to make a lot more sense to you. They're going to make a lot. Everything is going to flow really, really well. So yeah, that's it. I'm not going to talk about Jeffrey Anderson any further. Yeah, that's what's going on in Columbus, Ohio. Some calm.